Specifically, I would like to congratulate my friend from Florida, Mr. Mack, for his authorship of this important resolution, and I would like to recognize him at this time, Madam Speaker, to speak on this resolution, and I would ask him if he would also speak on the Drug Commission on Western Hemisphere, of which he and Mr. Engel were the authors. And at this time, Madam Speaker, I would like to yield such time as he may consume to the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Mack, the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Western Hemisphere and the author of this measure.
The Chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to Chairman Berman, and special thanks to the ranking member, Ross Leighton, for all of her efforts and her leadership for bringing this resolution to the floor. I'd also like to thank my colleague from New York, Congressman Towns, for joining me in introducing this resolution. Finally, I also want to thank my chairman, Chairman Engel, for his leadership in the Hemisphere. It has been a pleasure working with Chairman Engel on the important issues facing the Western Hemisphere. Madam Speaker, the people of El Salvador were hit hard by Hurricane Ida. As a Floridian, I understand how destructive and devastating a hurricane can be. We in Florida know what it's like to see the eye of a hurricane coming our way and how it impacts our lives. My heart goes out to the thousands of men, women, and children who have had their lives completely changed by Hurricane Ida, and who are, as we speak, picking up the pieces and slowly rebuilding their destroyed villages. As the ranking member of the Western Hemisphere Subcommittee, I believe it's important that the people of El Salvador understand that the people of the United States support them during these difficult times. I also think it's important to note how several nations work together and continue to do so to ensure the people of El Salvador are getting the help they need to rebuild. From Honduras, our forces were able to lift those in need out of harm's way. From South Florida, we were able to airlift much-needed supplies. Those who have participated in these relief efforts should be commended for their help. We are honored by their service. Madam Speaker, we in Congress remain committed to ensure that the people of El Salvador recover from this disaster, and I urge my colleagues to support this important resolution. I'd also like to make a quick note, if I could, on an earlier resolution that was brought up, H.R. 2134. And I want to thank again Chairman Engel for his leadership for introducing the Western Hemisphere Drug Policy Act. The problem of illegal drugs impact people across borders, cultures, and socioeconomic status. When we evaluate the U.S. drug policy in the Americas, we must take an all-encompassing approach to the problem. This legislation is a positive step towards evaluating U.S. policy. Some have focused on treatment or better education. Others have focused on supply and the law enforcement aspect of the problem. But let me be clear. We must make sure that we attack the problem from both angles and all perspectives. As we continue to address U.S. drug policy in the Hemisphere, I know that there will be, as there have been, many obstacles. Some of these include countries that simply refuse to cooperate with the United States. And even worse, Madam Speaker, there are governments that have chosen to be part of or facilitate the flow of drugs into the United States. According to President Obama, Venezuela has failed during the past year when it comes to counter-narcotic efforts. The Obama administration has strong evidence that Venezuela has refused to cooperate on almost all counter-narcotic issues. Hugo Chavez's refusal to act responsibly not only hurts Americans, but now Venezuela has the second highest murder rate in the world. The Venezuelan government's alignment with drug lords is so pervasive that ministers of the Chavez government are now categorized as Tier 2 kingpins. It's pretty clear-cut, Madam Speaker. The Chavez and the flow of drugs into the United States is something we cannot ignore. I want to thank Chairman Engel again for his leadership and urge my colleagues to vote yes on the Western Hemisphere Drug Policy Commission Act, H.R. 2134. Thank you, Chairman Engel. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the ranking member, Ileana Ross-Leighton. Thank you.